Good day all, welcome back to James's Minecraft Journal, single player Minecraft. Today we're going to be doing something with sheep. That's right, love them or hate them, we will be doing something with them. Now this build is actually, I've come up with an interesting idea. I'm sure it's not unique, I'm sure it's not original. Yeah, okay, I knew this was going to happen, so why did I even bother? But basically, we're going to try and use this build in the city. We're going to try and use it as a place where we can shear sheep of all different colours. So it's going to be a build in the city with a purpose, and I'm going to try and make it kind of retro. I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but we'll see. First off, you'll notice that there are a lot less animals in the city than there was. Of course, we've still got the pink sheep over there. That pink sheep isn't going to be coming with me at the moment. It's going to probably go into the museum. This is going to be one of the first builds with an actual purpose. It's not necessarily going to be something we use all the time, but it's still cool to have. I'm going to try and make it look as good as I can. Basically, it's just a place where we can keep sheep of all different colour. You may also notice, but in this general vicinity, there is a lot less animals. As you've probably guessed, I got rid of them. We still have 2 chickens, and I saved a bunch of eggs, collected a bunch when they were on the ground, and we still have 2 pigs, 2 cows. So as long as nothing happens to them, it should be fine. We can, get animals back if we need to. Okay, so what we are looking to achieve here is we want kind of a ring where the sheep will stand, a ring of grass, and this will then enable a minecart, a hopper minecart, to go underneath and collect any wool that's sheared. And then on the side there will hopefully be hopper minecarts as well. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Okay, so I've got a bit of a blueprint out, down here. As you can see, we've got the cart running, and basically underneath, or we can actually put it in place now because that should be it all up and running. Now obviously we're going to have the minecart sound. It's going to be a bit annoying, but I'm willing to live with it. All we need to do is just place grass over the top, like so. Oh, let's get rid of that one, although we might put grass in the centre, I've not decided yet. And this is where the sheep will stand. Now, I've never really made a sheep farm like this before, and I'm not sure how it's going to look in the context of the city, but we'll see. Alright then, I have done a bit of work on some redstone. Basically I decided, instead of keeping the cart in an infinite loop, which would in theory not be a good thing because obviously then we couldn't retrieve the wool easily, what I've done here is I've created a junction, and the cart will arrive here at the stop and it will dispense its wool. The wool will be transferred from the cart into the I say cart, but obviously it's a hopper mine cart, but hopefully you've picked up on that given the fact you've seen it loop around the track several times. Anyway, the wool is transferred from that into this hopper. I've just got some simple wiring here that will, allow the wool to travel up to this chest here. And that should work. Okay, so at this point we need to work on the layout of what we're going to have. Now, I think sheep are they 2 blocks tall? Right, there we go. Right, that sheep is now stuck, right? Right, let's put that to the test. Yeah, okay, right, that sheep's not getting out. So, what we can do is we can create a ring here of glass, which will hold the sheep in place. I think that is the best option, and I think instead my original idea was to have the sheep just wander willy-nilly around this area, and then I was going to have grass in the middle and that would replace grass in the outer ring. Like, say for example they chewed up all the grass here, then it wouldn't just be a rip, but grass from the inside would supplement it. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have different sections which will contain different colours of sheep. I think that's the best option for what we're trying to do here. It's enough for 16 different colours of sheep, albeit 4 of them will be sharing the same pen, but just because of the way it is worked out with the numbers and everything. But I'm not too unhappy about that. Alright, so this is what we've got. I have put all the sheep in their places. I've noticed that it is taking a while for the grass to grow back. I assume that's because there's only 2 possible places for the grass to spread from. So it might be an idea to put, you know, some grass behind. I'm not sure. I think what we could do is put, like, for example, here, let me show what I mean. What we could do is put, we could get rid of the hoppers because we don't really need them. Put grass behind, oh not there, and then put glass behind the pens so the wool doesn't fall this way. I think that is what we might do. So there we go, I've added the grass behind, and I've put glass above the grass, which obviously won't destroy it. It will at least prevent the wool from falling back the way to a place where it cannot be collected, and it will stop the sheep from eating that grass, so then there's less grass. And as you'll notice in my inventory, I do have all the dyes, so we'll just add them right now. I've managed to add the different colours of sheep, and I mean, it doesn't really need testing, but we might as well. And let's see if it... Okay, we collect some of it, that's fine. Of course, the aim of the whole hopper minecart underneath is that it would collect them. Oh, of course it's not going to collect all of them because it only has 5 spaces. There we go. Yeah, it's full. So we'll have to wander around and collect everything. I'm wondering if it's too... Do you think it's too excessive to have this whole minecart system? I mean, part of the reason I'm having it is just because it's kind of cool. Oh yeah, it's going to take the sheep an absolute age to get their wool back because they've chewed the grass already and it's going to take a while to spread back. But whatever. Well, that happens, and while we... Oh wait, we've got another red... We had a red sheep, right? We did have red. We definitely had red. I don't see a red wool. That's the thing. How much white wool do we have? Oh, we've got 6 white wool, which implies that we never coloured the red sheep. This is the white sheep. This is the sheep that should be red. Because we're going in order of the block ID numbers, which, funnily enough, is the same order that the wool is placed in on CTM maps. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to place that. That's fine. Then we're going to place that. Yeah, right, okay. Alright, there we go. That's good. So we're going to work on getting the cart to move away. Oh, there we go. As you can see, we've got 2 white sheep. That one should be red. There we go. Now we've got a sheep of every colour. Yeah, we're going to work on getting the cart to move off again, automatically. I'm not entirely convinced I've done this before. Okay, so that goes off. Okay. Oops, I got in the way there. And then it goes off again, that's fine. Then imagine I throw... Imagine that it picks up something. Oh my goodness. Right, okay, imagine it picks up a lot of things. Okay, now that didn't work. We're going to try set it off manually. That did not happen. Let's try it again. Seems like you can't activate them anymore. There's no way it can be overridden. There's still some wool that's not been collected. What we're going to do is possibly use the bottom dropper to detect when the cart is in place. We can't use the top one because you might have noticed that there was an item in there that hadn't been transferred to the chest, which means there will always be an item in there, which I'm not too fussed about, but it just means it can't be used to detect a signal because there will always be a signal. In contrast, however, this lower hopper is empty, and therefore it can be used to detect a signal. Alright, let's see what happens here then. This may or may not work. It's kind of dirty, but we'll give it a go. So it comes back, it stops, and it doesn't go again. How about that? Will that work? To be honest, we should probably throw a few things on the track. We may need a longer delay, but I'm not too worried about that. I just need the concept to work. Right, here we go. And then it moves off again. Question is, did it empty? We can check that when it comes round. It is empty. And then it stops, and that's fine. And then when we want to use it again, press the button, and it goes off again. So we've got the concept. We can basically use however long a delay we want on the basis that we can expand under the flooring and it won't be seen, so that's good. Okay, so regarding the looks of this place, we need it to kind of blend in with the other builds, but I do want to make it somewhat unique. So the doorway, I think we'll put we'll put the doorway, where should we put the doorway? Here, maybe? I don't want to put it in the middle, I kind of want to put it at one end. We could maybe put it here. Yeah, okay, yeah, I've decided, executive decision, we will put the doorway here. We'll put it 2 blocks from the end. And that way we come in, and we're not coming in with like sheep in your face, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to do a checkered floor here, just because I think that would look half decent. At this rate, I think if something looks half decent, then it looks amazing. So we'll just go with that. So we've come to a bit of a, how should I put it, predicament. We can't place any floor blocks on these, in this area here basically, because there's a track, there's redstone, the minecart obviously has to come to and fro. I was thinking we might get away with doing something like that. It's pretty cool being able to look in and see what's going on in there. So I found something really, really awesome. Look at this. Loads of mobs! Hello! Oh, more mobs. Look how many there are. So I've changed things around a wee bit. I've moved the brown sheep over one place. Okay, it makes it uneven, but that is the least of my worries. The reason I did that was so I could cover the floor entirely, cover all the redstone, cover all the track. So now it is, if I can remember, yeah, just down there. So we will have to uncover it a bit. In fact, you know what, we better check, make sure it does work. Oh wait. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, it definitely works. That's fine. So now we're going to have to use the hopper minecart and see if it functions as it did before. As you can see, I've got a bit of a drop down here. It does work. The cart does drop down here. The activator rail alters the course of the track, so the cart comes down here and then goes back. The only issue is, and I could actually make this work if I really wanted to, and I might. The only issue is the brown wool is not picked up in some places because, as you can see, it's a slope up. So it goes from, the hopper minecart goes from low down to high up, and if the brown wool's over on this side of the block, it's too far over for it to, yeah, get collected. The way I could sort that is if I moved the sheep along a bit. So if I move black to here, red to here, green to here, and then brown to here. Oh, that would look a bit weird. Okay, so I've moved the sheep. So now they're staggered. So it's a sheep, then a block, then a sheep, then a block, and so on and so forth. The aim of doing this was hopefully to get the brown sheep out of that position. In theory, we could still move the brown sheep, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the brown sheep as it is. Besides, brown wool's always the joke wool in CTM, so it's kind of funny how it's worked out as being the wool that might not always be collected. Alright, so I recorded a bunch more. I did a lot more. Well, okay, no, I didn't do that much more, but I got the sheep area, the sheep shop, or whatever we're calling it, to a point where it looks a bit different from how it did in the last clip. That's basically it. I actually recorded a huge chunk of footage with no audio. That was a mistake on my part. But I mean, I wasn't overly happy with it. I was going to scrap it anyway. But I'll just explain what I did. So basically, I went for dark oak wood on the roof because I realised that we hadn't actually used dark oak wood on any of the roofs yet, at least not that I could see. So I thought, might as well make it a bit different. and then we went for spruce wood, or I went for spruce wood for the pillars. Now, I like this sort of style. Originally, I had a red stained clay wall, and I didn't really like that an awful lot. I might redo that because when I had that in place originally, I didn't have these pillars, and I feel these pillars can help, you know, break up the wall a bit, add a bit more interest into it. I also tried oak planks, I also tried stone bricks, and they looked okay, but I couldn't decide. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I don't want it to get to the point where I'm forcing myself to finish builds or whatever. I just want to take it at my own pace. So I'm happy we've got something in place there. It looks okay, and it functions. There was a few bugs with it, and there still is a minor bug which I might sort later. But overall, it seems to be working fairly well as far as, you know, as far as being a farm. As you can see, we've got a lot of wool, which is good, and the sheep are doing fine and dandy. I might leave it like that because it's kind of cool, something a bit different, just kind of a walk-in thing. But at the same time, I might add a wall to it. I know I said sheep shop, and I know the title of this video is sheep shop, but it's not. I still don't really know its purpose within a city context. You know, I mean, this is the sort of thing you would get out in the country, so why for the love of mother and child do I have this in the city? I don't know. I think the idea was to have less emphasis on the shearing and the farming process of the sheep, and to have more emphasis on the fact that, hey, this is a place that you can get wool. It just so happens that you can shear them as well. Similar to the butchers, you know, butchers isn't the sort of place you would you know, necessarily get animals. You know, all that sort of stuff would be done at the farm, but I just thought I'd put animals here for decoration, and I guess you could argue it's the same with the sheep. So, what does it look out of place? Debatable. I think it looks okay personally. Oh, and also I guess one of the other issues was, as you can see, we've got the back walls of the adjacent buildings. So stone brick here for the bakery, and red bricks here for the post office. We can actually get rid of that and dump something else in there, I just realised. Not sure what. But there you go, that's the place we have got the build to at the minute. I'm satisfied with it so far. I'll probably still do stuff on it, as I will with hopefully most of these builds. Okay, so this isn't really a project as such, but it ties in with the city. As you may or may not know, I do get quite a few hostile mobs spawning in the city at night. Basically, what we're going to do is, well, I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to do it as and when I feel like it. But we're going to basically carve out layers under the ground, and we're not going to light them up. So there's going to be loads of layers underground, loads of spawning space for mobs to spawn in, and that will hopefully reduce the amount of mobs on the surface at night. Oh, it's working. It's working a little too well. But yeah, as you can see, all along there, I've dug a path, and that's the extent of the wall of the city. And then similarly, the wall of the city continues up here. And this is as far as we can go. We can't go this way. If we go that way, then we run the risk of straying into an area that is affecting the mob system at the base. So yeah. This is not a project I'll be working on heavily. It's merely it's experimental, but it's also you know, for resource gathering and that. But yeah, it's not something I'll be working tirelessly on. Much like the city, it'll just be a case of I'll come down here whenever I feel like it and dig a bit. But yeah, that will be it for this episode. Just want to thank everyone for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you when I see you.